Hey, everybody.
Wake up and rise up in your eyes. It's breakfast with the Thomases, the ultimate prize. Mental Wellness Monday. Work it out Wednesday. Pay it forward Friday. We're seizing the day. Digital finance, underneath of love. Serving food to what those stores. Rising as the beat and it. Eastern on P2G TV.
Hey.
Breakfast with the Thomases, come eat with me.
Grand Rising and welcome to Mental Wellness Monday on Breakfast with the Thomases. I am your host, one of your hosts, LRBT. I'm just going to give you some love for this amazing Mental Wellness Monday. Welcome to February.
Grand Rising family, welcome. This is album time to go back and come to you live 1 gram at a time. Glad to be here with you.
Okay.
Glad to be here with you. Oh man, today's an interesting show. Actually it's a great show. And I'm glad to bring it here with you and my partner. One of the things I want people to really take hold of that supposedly the government was supposed to shut down. Didn't do it.
Didn't do the shutdown?
Didn't do the shutdown. But a lot of things did come into play, And
what does that mean? What does that mean for the people?
What does that mean for the people? Well, what it means for the people is they keep getting a paycheck, but it's the money. The money situation is the money situation. Is what it's always been. And things are getting dire, for lack of a better term. And I don't want to make it sound like the boat is falling in or the ship is sinking. But the time is now for you guys to make a decision for what's available for you and your family, all jokes aside. You have to make decisions about what's going to happen and what's going to occur. Because banks are making decisions over their bottom line, and you have to make decisions over your bottom line as well.
Okay.
One of the things that occur, and I believe the video is going to show you where there was a giant shorting market shift started Friday, and it's about to open up the door today on Monday, and we're going to see where things are. A lot of things have occurred.
So we have to correct that information.
Yeah.
Just so that you know. The government is in a partial shutdown. So yeah, they did shut down.
They did do a partial?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. So they're in a partial.
And then 1 hour ago. Just so that you know. Well, I like to be accurate. We're not out here trying to scare people to death, but we got to prepare each other. We got to be honest, real, and prepare each other for what's going down. I mean,
true indeed.
Like I told you, we all we got. And if we ain't putting out the real, we're not telling the truth in our community so we can start putting together some ideas of how to get through this thing. You think y'all government's gonna come help you? Stop it. Stop it.
They're not in the business of coming to your aid, and you guys are well aware that they don't come to your aid until it makes dollars sense for them. Repeat that, please.
Unless a large enough influential group makes them. Y'all get that? It has to be within their interest to come to do anything.
Very true. Very true.
Tell me where you haven't seen that in your neighborhood. Come on. We're not out here trying to put dirt on anything. We're trying to help you understand what you're seeing and realize that it's time to step up. It's time to man up, woman up, whatever you got going on, and start getting it together. And maybe what you think you're doing to move forward may not be helping as much as you think. Maybe you need a new perspective. You know what I'm saying? That's all we're talking about. Yeah. Because this shift is not like any other. We are at the door. No. We're at the door of something totally different. People have been talking about it. Y'all been talking about, conspiracy theories. Well, my question is, have you noticed that a lot of the conspiracy theories in the last 10 years have been true? What about that? What about those people who said the dollar's this, the dollar's that, and now you paying $12 for eggs?
Who are you telling? What if it's not a conspiracy? It's
What
just the facts.
my question will be for you: have you prepared, and are you ready to face up to preparation being needed for us to get in out here and do something with ourselves? To really say, hey, what can I do if the when the shelves are empty in the stores and I can't get in the door and I can't pick up some, what can I do when we have finally find out the banks ain't opening up?
Mm.
What happens if my banks don't open up? Did I take care of myself beforehand? There's a whole lot of people that sit here with their pride when it's time for the conversation to get it done. But you know what you want to hear the funny thing? When it hit, all I'm saying, people, what do I do? Let me call you. Let me call you. My phone will ring and it won't be answered. And it will have relatives and friends' names on it. I love you, but I can't take you on. I told you about the raft you need to put together. I told you how to fill your holes. I tried to get you to sit in on those days. Look, I got folks that are doing this right now, coming back around to me talking about, oh, you knew something. And I'm like, I still know something. I'm still taking care of business. When you gonna start? When are you gonna start making sure you are secure in the case of anything? Because people get always you always talking about the sky is falling. The sky has always been falling. When the freak has the sky not been falling in your adult life? Answer me that, please. Somebody.
It's been falling. It's just,
Come on.
it falls, but it's been so publicized that it's incremental falling. It's like Chicken Little said, "Hold on, we're gonna drop one egg at a time on the ground and let it break for you guys." Come on.
Maybe I don't subscribe to the Henny Penny story.
I'm not going. Well, yeah, it is the Henny Penny story.
Look, I go back to the kindergarten stories. You know me. I don't play that. We've been getting common sense drilled into our head since we was kids. You thought you was grown, so you didn't have to use it no more. And now you look like Boo Boo the Fool, starving, talking about my baby's hungry. You better get your shit together now. Because the fact of the matter is, nobody's here to help you, including me, especially me. I learned one thing in life, y'all. You can't help people. You can teach a person how to help themselves. Okay? You can train people who are willing. You can pass on knowledge of those who are willing to receive. But what you cannot do is help people. You know why? Because they'll sit back and keep letting you help them until you die. And then they will die.
That is a scary thought. You
So I
can't
tell
carry.
people, I'm not here to come and save nobody. I'm not Superwoman. I learned that in my community. Everybody's like, well, you going to run? I'm going to run for what? We need to stop running and get to work. We need to show up. I tried the political process. You know what it does? It's a business. It's a process. It's not something that it wasn't made for the us. It wasn't made for the people. It was made for the people who run it. That's an office with a job and a job.
Yes, it is. And there are parameters and things they got to do and complete for you so you can get what you want. So, well, I'm sorry, they can get what they want because they have numbers they have to make.
Yeah.
Like any other business.
You go to your job. You can't just go in there and decide how the company going to run. Right. I love to see that happen. You walk in the door, start talking about, no, this don't work, and the people don't want that, and I'm sure this is happening. Try to do that. Try to go to somebody else's business and decide you're going to decide how it's going to run. Good luck with that.
They got room. They got room for people like that. That's called the unemployment line.
There you go.
That's the unemployment line.
Shoot. And I am not kicking. I am not knocking anybody who has need for the government, but you have a bigger need to learn how to manage the resources that you're getting to help you grow. I always talk about, we always go back to remembering that there have been plenty of people on public assistance who have created businesses from the food stamps that they got, from the excess. You want to hear something interesting? The same people, once the government sees that you trying to get yourself together, they're going, oh, we need the money we gave you back.
Yep.
It becomes a loan. They have changed the application. Yeah. Government aid becomes a loan, and you become lifetime indebted the longer you stay.
They do not want you to come out of the system. They want you to be indebted. This is how the plans are being created. And I hate that. I don't like this word. I really don't. The word is servitude, because the word is servitude. And as long as they can, as long as they control the carrot, they control how long they keep you in it. You know.
But you have a way out. See, you let them educate you to teach you real good how to stay in the system. If you don't surpass the education, and a lot of people, when y'all left school, y'all was like, I'm done. I ain't going back to school. I ain't going back to college. Yeah. My friend, one of my friends decided he wanted to just go get his GED because he didn't want to go from junior high school. He didn't want to go through high school. So he went and studied that GED book real good because he's really smart. But do you want to hear something? He discovered later, while he could get a job, he couldn't excel. Yes, he had to go back to college. He got a GED. You're figuring out that was holding him back. You skipped the process. And that's what we get. That's where we as human beings get in trouble. We feel like we could just, skip over. So whatever, if I'm gonna try to get, no, you missed the process of learning. And then a lot of people who have, if you haven't been to college, and I'm really grateful I did what I did. I went back to school with my kids as into college. I went back to college with my children, and it was an experience for me because we went to different schools. Don't get me wrong, but the experience I had gave me the ability to enhance what I knew. I had businesses since my kids was little. Don't get me wrong. I passed college, passed high school, did some college, had to come back because, working, parenting, 2-parent household, still needed to make extra income. So I had to go back to work. No problem, right? That's the story. We all understand it. But I realized that 2 incomes plus a business, 2 kids, and we still not making it with benefits? Hold up a second. And I still need to get food stamps. There was something wrong. There was not something wrong with us because it wasn't like we wasn't busting butt out there every day, supporting everybody, doing what we had to do. But you know what? There was something wrong with the system. It became very, very clear that it was something wrong with the system. And somebody is out here making it. So my answer is always, so I'm always looking for the ones that are not struggling. You know what I'm saying? What they doing? Let's go see what
are they doing different than you're doing?
What's going on the other side? Because like I told you, that was that one morning I had a doctor's appointment. I'm over, by the way, we live out, y'all. We always try to share with y'all. We in New York. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to the doctor. I'm over by Central Park looking behind me. It had to be in about the month of March. And I'm noticing people sitting on the lawn. They just feeding the birds and the fish in the pond and the mirror, and a dog walking. And it had to be about 10 a.m., y'all. Sun's out. You got blankets on the street on the lawn. Man, I'm going. It's a weekday. It's Tuesday. What do they know that I don't know? How they get a day off in the middle of the week just to chill? And here I am, so with the sniffles, I gotta go sit to the doctor, get back, then be back to work the next day, no matter what the doctor say. I gotta be back the next day if I want to make them hours so I can keep paying my bills.
Yep, indeed.
What do they know? Why don't we ever ask that question? It's time. My family, it's time for us to get together. And I want to say thank you to everybody on all y'all platforms because we love you all. And y'all are all family. If you tuned in today, you better sit down, pick up a cup, get your little cup. You know what I'm saying? Because we about to get fed up. Let's go.
Don't worry, I'm gonna get mine right after we're done.
I don't mean mad, I mean fed. Because I get fed. I get mad sometimes.
Don't worry. Bustelo will be on the table momentarily.
Lord, all right, we got some people in the conversation. Y'all go ahead and drop whatever you want to drop. Y'all can say Grand Rising. We got a Grand Rising from Miss Hilda. I see Hilda out here sparkling on 2 platforms. Al, how you doing, sis?
Good to see you, sis. How are you?
Miss Shelby's in the spot. It's so low.
Oh
Oh,
Lord.
that sister absolutely loves. She absolutely loves the fire department, and I'm really
We're gonna have
excited.
to find a New York City calendar to send her.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We like volunteering and giving funds for the fire department. I don't
Yeah,
mind.
they don't mind.
That's what's up. Look, so this morning we're gonna be. Mr. Thomas had me queue up something. I
Yeah,
want to talk to you guys about what's going on with the finances. I mean, the part that y'all don't pay attention to, you may not see and you may not hear about in your community, because we have to understand how to move forward. At this
yeah.
junction, if we still closing our eyes, if you still closing your eyes and putting your head in the sand, good luck. Good luck with that, because that's not gonna, that does not work, and it doesn't work for a reason. We were made, people were made to build. You weren't made to stay stagnant and to not change. And you have to understand the changes. So if you're chilling, you can mute us, Mr. Thomas. If you're chilling right now and you just, you trying not to pay attention, that's all right. I'm not here to judge you. Your life will do that. But I'm letting you know, until you start putting some work into new information in the information age, you get the lifestyle you created. There's no they for you. There is only you. And I'm letting everybody know, we taking they off the table. If there's a they in your life, you have no power. So if you disempower yourself, you did it. Got it? All right, here we go. We got one more message before we put on the video.
Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning, Vietnam.
Grand
Mr.
Rising, my brother.
Thomas, how y'all doing this morning for this Monday? This BT Black Cash Cow here on
Yes.
the Stereo Clappers for this Monday. I hope you had a great, wonderful weekend. Y'all made it. A lot of people didn't make it. I'm out here in Chicago, headed down to Kansas City.
Ah,
Hope you're having a great, wonderful day.
brother
There's
Travis.
a pandemic, another pandemic is coming, a lot worse than this COVID.
Oh God.
Man-made stuff. So just be aware, just put it out there, just a messenger, just put it out there, just be alert, be aware, do your research, check into it. But I'm listening to Mr. Thomas, Mr. Thomas, that has been a great, wonderful week, and I will check back with you on Wednesday.
All right. Thank you so much for that, brother. He's out there, eyes on the streets. You know what I'm saying? And please mask up, glove up. I want y'all take care of yourselves. Look, this is this is the flu season. Y'all know that.
Yes, it is.
This is flu and COVID season already. Whatever's to come, that means your body and your system your immune system is already probably weakened and open and exposed. Handle your business when it comes to protecting and building it up, and protect your insides. We have to realize that there is a little something out here right now that's stronger than COVID, is doing a lot of damage. And we want you to realize it's not in the air, it's in the touch. So please,
Yeah.
mask up, glove up, and you're gonna have to stay at a distance. But you know what? You can still show up.
You can definitely show up.
Yeah,
I gotta, whenever we have content that is very point or appointed, we always seem to get sirens, like an acknowledgement that y'all about to say the right thing.
Sirens just be going off because they still running right now, and I'm like, is there a major something going on close to here?
Yeah, they know we about to play the juice.
So let's get it popping.
Go ahead.
All right. Mr. Thomas.
Flags. At the exact moment silver reached its lows, major short positions were quietly closed. Simultaneously, margin requirements were sharply increased, a move that forces leverage participants out at the worst possible moment. This was structural leverage interacting with abrupt rule changes, creating a cascade of forced selling that evaporated liquidity. Yet, the fundamentals remain unchanged. Silver is a critical industrial input for energy systems and transportation electrification. The market has been running a structural deficit for years, consuming more metal annually than the world actually produces. While paper prices fell, physical premiums surged. This disconnect suggests the quoted price no longer reflects true scarcity. The collapse was a reset, not a resolution. Those who understand the structure will The sudden collapse in the silver market was not a random failure. What unfolded bore all the hallmarks of a deliberate structural event. The timing alone raised red flags. At the exact moment silver reached its lows, major short positions were quietly closed. Simultaneously, margin requirements were sharply increased, a move that forces leverage participants out at the worst possible moment. This was structural leverage interacting with abrupt rule changes, creating a cascade of forced selling that evaporated liquidity. Yet, the fundamentals remain unchanged. Silver is a critical industrial input for energy systems and transportation electrification. The market has been running a structural deficit for years, consuming more metal annually than the world actually produces. While paper prices fell, physical premiums surged. This disconnect suggests the quoted price no longer reflects true scarcity. The collapse was a reset, not a resolution. Those who understand the structure will recognize the opportunity beneath the disorder. Within 24 hours, silver had fallen from extreme highs to levels not seen since months prior. The magnitude of the move was historic, marking the largest drop in decades. Gold followed, though less violently, wiping out trillions in market value across precious metals. Mining equities were hit even harder, despite the fact that nothing about their underlying resources had changed. Ore bodies were still in the ground, demand drivers remained intact, yet valuations were crushed as if those fundamentals had vanished overnight. What mainstream narratives failed to address was the mechanism that made such a collapse possible. This was not a spontaneous loss of confidence. It was the result of structural leverage interacting with abrupt rule changes. Futures markets operate on margin, allowing traders to control large positions with relatively small amounts of capital. Under stable conditions, this amplifies gains and losses symmetrically. But when margin requirements are raised suddenly, the symmetry breaks. Traders are forced to either inject fresh capital or liquidate. When most participants are already fully leveraged, liquidation becomes the only option. This creates a cascade. Forced selling pushes prices lower, which triggers additional margin calls, which forces more selling. Algorithms detect momentum and accelerate it. Stops are hit. Liquidity evaporates. What might have been a correction becomes a freefall. Crucially, those with deep balance sheets and advanced knowledge of margin thresholds are positioned to benefit. They can absorb forced selling, cover short exposure, and exit risk precisely when others cannot. This pattern is not new. It has appeared repeatedly throughout modern market history. Each time, the justification differs: inflation fears, policy shifts, speculative excess, but the underlying mechanics remain the same. In earlier decades, similar crashes followed attempts to restrict buying or sharply raise margin requirements during periods of extreme positioning. Each episode ended the same way. Leveraged participants were wiped out, while structural players reset their exposure and prepared for the next cycle. The current event stands out not because the playbook changed, but because the underlying fundamentals did not weaken. Silver today is not merely a speculative asset. It is a critical industrial input, deeply embedded in modern technology. Demand from energy systems, transportation electrification, and data infrastructure has grown steadily, while supply has struggled to keep pace. The market has been running a structural deficit for years, consuming more metal annually than is produced. That imbalance did not disappear during the crash. It was simply ignored by the paper market. This distinction is crucial. In past collapses, speculative demand had inflated prices beyond what fundamentals could support. When leverage was flushed out, there was little reason for prices to recover quickly. This time, the situation is different. Industrial demand remains inelastic, physical inventories are tight, and the disconnect between paper pricing and real-world availability has grown more severe, not less. Evidence of this disconnect can be seen in physical markets, particularly in regions where industrial consumption dominates. Premiums paid for physical silver surged even as futures prices collapsed. Buyers were willing to pay far above the quoted price to secure metal, signaling that paper markets were no longer reflecting reality. This divergence suggests that the crash did not solve any supply problem. It merely transferred risk from leveraged holders to entities capable of weathering volatility. The result is a reset, not a resolution. Paper positions were dismantled. Retail leverage was flushed. Sentiment was crushed, but the structural shortage remains. In fact, by discouraging participation in futures markets through punitive margin requirements, access to hedging and price discovery has narrowed further. This accelerates the erosion of the paper market's relevance, and pushes more participants toward physical ownership. What this means going forward is not immediate clarity, but heightened instability. When markets are engineered to remove participants rather than balance supply and demand, volatility increases, not decreases. Price discovery becomes episodic, marked by violent drops followed by sharp rebounds. Those who attempt to trade these swings without understanding the underlying mechanics are effectively playing against the house. History suggests that such events are not isolated. Once a market demonstrates that leverage can be weaponized against participants, confidence erodes, traders reduce exposure or exit entirely, liquidity thins, and when the next demand shock arrives, price moves faster and farther than expected. This is how markets transition from managed systems into disorderly ones. The immediate question is not whether the crash was justified, but what phase follows. In previous cycles where fundamentals were weak, recovery took years. In more recent episodes where demand remained strong, recovery was measured in weeks. The determining factor has always been whether the underlying imbalance was resolved. In this case, it was not. Supply remains constrained. Demand continues to grow. And the mechanisms used to suppress price have weakened participation rather than fixed shortages. What remains is an environment where future price moves are likely to be sharper and less forgiving. Volatility is not a sign of weakness here, but of strain. It reflects a system attempting to reconcile incompatible forces, physical scarcity and paper leverage. Until that tension breaks decisively in one direction, instability will persist. This is the backdrop against which the next phase will unfold. Whether prices revisit lower levels or rebound aggressively will depend not on headlines, but on how quickly forced selling exhausts itself and how firmly physical demand holds. What is clear is that the recent collapse did not mark the end of the story. It marked a transition. Type continue to proceed with the next section. Continue. What follows an engineered liquidation is never calm. Markets do not return smoothly to balance after a structural purge. They lurch. Confidence does not rebuild evenly, and participation does not return all at once. Instead, the aftermath is defined by hesitation on the surface and accumulation beneath it. This is the phase where narratives lag reality, where price looks weak while pressure quietly builds in the opposite direction. The destruction of leverage fundamentally changes who remains in the market. The participants left standing after a flush are not the fast money traders or the overextended speculators. They are the entities with long time horizons, physical needs, and balance sheets capable of absorbing volatility. This shift matters because it alters how price responds to new information. When weak hands are gone, downside accelerations lose fuel, while upside moves encounter far less resistance. One of the most overlooked consequences of repeated margin weaponization is its impact on trust in futures markets themselves. When participants realize that rules can be changed abruptly at moments of peak exposure, futures stop functioning as neutral risk management tools. They become instruments of exclusion. Over time, this drives capital away from paper markets and toward physical ownership or alternative structures that cannot be liquidated by decree. Each episode accelerates that migration. As paper participation shrinks, pricing power weakens. Futures markets rely on volume to maintain credibility. When volume is artificially suppressed through punitive margins, prices become easier to push, but harder to sustain. This creates instability by design. Small shocks produce outsized moves, and volatility becomes the norm rather than the exception. The very tools intended to stabilize markets instead amplify dysfunction. Meanwhile, the physical market continues operating under a different logic entirely. Industrial users do not pause consumption because futures prices collapse. Manufacturers still need material to meet production schedules. Infrastructure projects do not halt because margin requirements change in Chicago. Demand in these sectors is dictated by necessity, not sentiment. When supply is tight, buyers pay premiums. That reality does not disappear because a chart breaks. This divergence between paper and physical markets is not theoretical. It is observable. Elevated premiums, delayed deliveries, and shrinking inventories all point to stress that paper prices cannot resolve. When futures fall while physical premiums rise, the signal is unmistakable. The quoted price no longer reflects true scarcity. That gap can persist for a time, but it cannot close without consequence. Eventually, one of two things happens. Either physical demand is destroyed through substitution or recession, or paper pricing loses authority and must re-anchor to reality. Substitution is limited. Alternatives exist, but they are not immediately scalable, and in many cases, they introduce new costs or inefficiencies. Recession can suppress demand temporarily, but it does not eliminate structural needs. Infrastructure, energy transition, and data expansion are not cyclical luxuries. They are long-term commitments. That leaves re-anchoring, and re-anchoring rarely occurs gradually. It happens abruptly, often when inventories reach critical thresholds, or when a single supply disruption exposes the fragility of the system. At that point, price does not rise because sentiment improves. It rises because material must be secured at any cost. Futures markets, thin and underparticipated, are forced to gap higher to ration supply. This is why engineered crashes do not invalidate bullish structural theses. They often strengthen them. By flushing leverage and discouraging speculative excess, they clear the path for more durable trends driven by fundamentals rather than momentum. The irony is that the same actions taken to suppress price in the short term often sow the conditions for far more violent moves later. The risk for participants is not volatility itself, but misunderstanding its source. When volatility is driven by leverage and rule changes, traditional technical analysis loses relevance. Support levels break not because value vanished, but because forced selling overwhelmed liquidity. In such environments, trading becomes hazardous, while positioning becomes strategic. The distinction matters. Another consequence of repeated market interventions is behavioral. After enough cycles, participants learn the pattern. They become less willing to deploy leverage near highs and more inclined to accumulate after forced liquidations. This adaptive behavior gradually reduces the effectiveness of the playbook. Each repetition requires more extreme measures to achieve the same outcome, increasing systemic strain. At the same time, public narratives struggle to keep pace. Headlines focus on catalysts rather than mechanisms. Policy announcements are blamed while structural actions are ignored. This misdirection benefits those who operate behind the scenes, but leaves most participants reacting to incomplete explanations. By the time clarity emerges, positioning opportunities have often passed. Looking forward, the environment remains one of elevated risk and elevated potential. The same forces that produce sudden collapses also produce rapid recoveries. When physical demand asserts itself and paper constraints loosen, price can move faster than most expect. These moves are not gradual trends, they are repricings. None of this implies certainty about timing. Markets can remain dislocated longer than participants expect. Additional volatility is not only possible, but likely. Further attempts to suppress price through structural means cannot be ruled out. Each attempt, however, carries diminishing returns and increasing side effects. What matters most is recognizing the nature of the system being navigated. This is not a free market in the classical sense. It is a managed environment where rules, leverage, and access determine outcomes as much as supply and demand.
We're gonna stop right here. Let's get back into it.
Yes, please. There's a lot of information in that. There's a lot of stuff to unpack in there. You know,
Can we just draw a line, put it together with a little bow on it?
Okay, let's put it together with a bow.
Suppression is what the markets do on paper. When you have the real deal, can't nobody suppress you. Can't nobody suppress what's needed. Now, the use for silver changes the game completely. The use requirement of the world to move into the future. You know that everybody's on some sort of different type of race toward the future. All these countries, big countries.
There's a lot of it going on. You know,
but you know that silver is more scarce than gold, and they've been overbuying silver for a long time.
Deficits we've been carrying a deficit for over 10 years, and we use more than we produce.
I need you to recognize who we are when you speak on behalf of we.
Well, industry. Let me say industry. Industry uses more than they produce.
Okay, so you're not industry. So keep that in mind. And I want y'all all to recognize y'all aren't industry. Y'all don't make nothing technical. None of y'all get up in the morning and start smelting into something. So let's not, like I said, I'm trying not to talk about their business. I try to mind my own business, stay in my own lane. How does that apply to me? How does this make my life better? Because what happens is when if you live in a space in your head of what they are doing, you can see the structure, but you can't stay in their business if you're not handling yours.
Absolutely, got that.
That's why when we talk upon the we speak of the folks that are physical. I speak upon those who are in my space, the physical holders who are watching the paper market shrivel up and die in front of them. But you don't understand it because when you go to try to sell your silver and gold, they try to They try to cut you like, oh, nah, you can't get more than this silver.
They try to lowball you.
I put 110. You trying to talk about giving me 66 for mine? Nah. What does that tell you? It means you need to hold on until they get desperate. Because those same dealers that are trying to cut the price for you are still looking at paper market. What they're not talking about yet are the international calls that will be made for the physical, for the need for them to, in order for these little silver shops and all these gold shops to stay open, they need to be making friends internationally who absolutely need delivery.
Yes, they do.
See, that's the thing. It's one thing to have it on paper and see the price go up and go down, but it's another thing to hold on to the physical, have it in your possession.
Custody
Of these items that are needed in industry and scarce. Y'all remember the first signs that started? Everybody had put up a sign: "We buy gold, top dollar." Silver's dead. We buy silver. Top dollar is coming, but it's not here yet.
No, it's on the way though.
This is a wealthy man's game. Someone who understands. If you poor in mentality and you have poor mindset, then you're gonna sell it for whatever you could get because you're under the impression. You'll be clearly under the impression that this is it. Oh my God, the price went down. I can't get what I. Oh my God, I lost.
I understand. I'm sorry. Not to cut you off. I really want people to really get this because this was a very interesting weekend.
I got you.
And yes, I am the trader in the household, so I saw it and I shared it with my wife. The movement was manufactured. This weekend's movement was manufactured. There was a 40. Let's call it a 40% drop in the market in the paper markets. But understand, the reason there was a drop because the banks, the ones who control the margins and the shortages, had to get it to a base price. Now, this is what I want to share with people. Now that it came to a base price,
ta-da!
I love you, baby. I love you. I love you. I love you.
Yes, I'm putting up. We have a visual, and this is for the people who are not visual in the space. I let them know. We just put up a chart, a visual of the chart. We put silver and gold chart together to show
right next to each other
how these are moving together in this dip. So you can't play this game. And then we even have off of Bitcoin. Bitcoin went to 70 something. Come on, y'all. How does everything be up high at one time, which normally doesn't happen? No. And then all of a sudden they're all they diving low. 30, 60,
we were looking at prices like 5,100 for gold, 117 for silver, and all of a sudden on a Friday,
they got up to 138.
Huh? I'm sorry.
Silver.
138, and then we dropped all the way down to 75. Now, the first thought to me was one, it was manufactured. I said, let's compare notes. Next thing is, whose shorts are being covered right now? That was the next question that came to mind. And I was reading an article about 6 o'clock.
Who is benefit?
JP Morgan covered all its shorts at the bottom.
Yeah, they've been playing the public for a long time now.
With all the shorts at the bottom.
Yeah, they switched long to shorts, put them on the board, things shifted, got everybody to do what they wanted them to do, and then went out and got out the market.
And closed everybody, but then you know what's going to happen next.
Come on.
We're going back up. It's going to climb. Those who have been holding have been waiting for this secondary climb to come into play. So I'm gonna say like Ruby has said to you, get it now, get it.
And this is not financial advice.
And there is no dip to get. There's just get.
That we want you guys to get that this is a game, and we want you to see it for yourself so you can make informed decisions. I'm gonna be honest. I don't need to tell you to go and pay for something that has long-term value over, that finally goes down back to a manageable price. I'm like, hey, I got the price up here. I'm looking at silver. Silver was in this 170 something yesterday. It's climbing back. It's 181.68. I keep the facts in front of me so that I'm not sitting here lying. I don't play that.
Say that one more time. I missed that piece.
It went from 174 yesterday to 181.68 that right now. Let me refresh one time. 59, 81.59 now, currently.
That's what silver is.
According to AppMex.com.
So those people who are picking it up for custody, it don't look like the same paper price.
No?
Custody price don't look like the same custody price at all.
Al, you using words that folks are not.
I'm sorry.
This is not our class.
Custody means you own it. You get it live, direct. You own it. You hold it. You flip it around.
It's physical ownership. It's something that you hold, because if you do not hold it, you do not own it.
And when I say paper, I'm referring to the market and derivatives and future markets. That's paper. That's what I'm talking about. So
you have a bubble, baby.
I have a bubble with a bubble. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know if it's true, but they said that they'll be closing a whole lot of JP Chase banks about around. So I'm not sure, but that's what I heard. They're closing a lot of Chase banks.
There's let's do some research. You know how I do. I don't listen here. Yep. Speculation. Thank you for that. So just to give y'all a heads up, if you live in an urban area in the city, you will find that a lot of those banks have been closing. Their doors have been closing earlier and earlier for the urban areas, and even their ATM rooms. I've been observing that for the last year and a half, actually 2 whole years, come to think of it. We're now at February. For the last 2 years, first time I noticed it, and this is because and think about it, this is just because I stay abreast of what's going on with the money. I was putting it out there. We've done a couple of shows to have people look at and check the schedules on their bank doors.
Doors are closing early.
Banks are giving limited amounts of finances. Guys, that right there, JP Morgan Chase is one of the big 3. It's one of the big, what was it, big 5?
Big 5.
Too
big to fail.
Too big to fail banks. That's the number 1 too big to fail bank.
Yes, it is.
Did y'all know that? Now, my question is what do they do for your community? Because people go, that ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't got that bank, right? That's not my bank. Where do you think your bank is getting money from? All of these banks that we have are connected.
Banks.
The big banks goes.
You got to remember.
They've been telling people, get your money out the bank for how long?
Oh, please. Chase has more ATMs and I'm only going to speak for the New York City area. Chase has more ATM locations than anyone else in the New York City area.
Yep.
More than Citibank, more than Citizen and any of them other banks, even more than Wells Fargo.
Mm-hmm.
Chase is the number 1 ATM holder in the city.
Also, I don't know if you know, Al, but Chase Bank is the bank for New York City Housing Authority.
No, I did not know that.
Yes, they are. They've been there, and it's weird because I was talking with a friend of mine, and when I saw it, she was like, "Yeah, because I wonder if they'll take my if they're going to be looking at my account now that because she has a Chase account. She was like, I'm changing my bank because I don't know if they're going to be looking at my account for my rent." I said, "Your rent? What are you talking about?" Child said, "Oh yeah, we used to have this other program. Now it's Chase Bank."
Wow.
Look that up. Chase Bank is now the bank for New York City Housing Authority. All of NYCHA.
Chase is also the biggest holder of all. They were always the biggest holder of NYCHA RAD accounts. They gave RAD the money. They're the sponsor of RAD. So, and for those who don't know what RAD is,
let's make it make sense to some folks. Okay. New York City Housing Authority is the biggest, probably the biggest landlord in the country.
Yes.
Not the city, not this region, the country. It's the highest, I should say, the largest landlord in the country currently, trying to offshore or offload the responsibility to independent companies. Now, with that being said, that's a government contract that Chase just got. Biggest, anybody making those connections? Clink, 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 lights, any lights going on?
Let's play connect the dots here.
I'm a little concerned because, we out here in the hemisphere, and I want to let folks know, you got to know who your landlord do business with. You better pay attention. Because that didn't, that was like when she said that, made that connection for me. It made a connection for me. I was like, I got Chase. We have Chase. Are they influenced? Is my landlord? You know what I'm saying? They made us look at ours. So that's not a connection that I made because all the money runs through banks, y'all. Do you realize that your job, the people you got to pay attention who your job does banking business with? If that bank closes down, where your money at? Where your payroll at? Where your check coming from? Y'all see why they keep telling everybody, get your money out of the banks? But where did it go? That's why we teach digital financial literacy. That's why we teach y'all. And when we say digital, it changes the game. You guys have been learning how to stay in the model. Does anybody want to know what's on the other side of the model? Does anyone want to know how to diversify and make it work and actually have what we call personal custody over your finances? You might get them in
that
cash.
Work for you.
You know what I'm saying? You might get them in cash, but you really need a way to say, I own this. I decide what happens with this. Because the minute something happens with one of those things, you start realizing you never owned it.
Yep.
That's because
they make it perfectly clear. It's perfectly clear you don't own it because you can't get to it.
No, you have been getting permission. See, you won't notice it until the bank shuts down that you have been getting permission to get your money. You've been getting permission to get your money until permission is no longer available for anybody. And what do you mean? My money's in there.
Think about back when in 2023 where the Japanese man went to the bank and he says he went in and held up the bank, locked the door and says, I'm not leaving until you give me my money. He held the bank hostage for 8 hours, 15 employees, 8 hours, locked the door. He says, I'm not here for anybody else's money but my own.
Exactly.
And he eventually got arrested, but he also got his money out the bank, walked out, and they had to have a whole trial. And then, this is what opened the door to people realizing that they don't really have control of your money.
Exactly.
They really don't have control. And they had held his money locked his money up for 3 days prior in the entire country.
Do you know about the balance?
Oh, it was $10,000. He was trying to buy medicine for his wife.
$10,000. $10,000.
He was trying to buy medicine for his wife, and they wouldn't give him his money.
That's insane, y'all. He couldn't get his money out the bank because they have custody. But we don't know this. And we do. Those who do know this, what are you teaching the people around you? Because remember one thing. If you're not sharing information on what's going down, you're giving people an option. I'm not telling you be responsible for nothing, and don't tell your business. You ain't got to tell your business. But the conversations that you have should at least spark the mention on somebody's mind to think further. I got a lot. We already know this. We don't need that. Yeah, but the starving people around you gonna be in a too large a number for you to handle. You ain't got enough bullets to kill everybody off or keep them at bay when you eating and they're starving. When they got starving kids.
Yep.
I remember that. That's why we share, because I don't plan. Like I said, I share now because I ain't sharing later. That's how that's.
We talked a couple months back. We were talking about something that happened to Robert Kiyosaki, and he's one of our favorite authors and businessmen. He was in the military, and they dropped him in the middle of a field at a training exercise to see how long it would take for people to lose it.
No, that was a survival. It had nothing to do with them deciding to see how long would he learn.
Oh yeah, let's call it survival. You are right. That's more the correct word.
And what he ended up learning about was how long it took before humanity lost it. How long it took for people not to have food, for them to lose it. And they hunted this little, I guess it was a little duck or something. They finally got a little duck. It was 5 adult guys, 3 days in, starving, fighting over a little chicken. It's a little chicken that they were able to gather. And then when the next team came down, they sold them the bones.
Yep.
I need y'all to get something about that. Survival is not pretty. Survival mode is not pretty. And if you think it's not pretty for you, I don't want you to have to imagine that for your neighbors. Prepare. It's time for you to sit down and start figuring out if you're ready. If you're ready for what's coming, it's going to come. We talked about a pandemic. That happens.
Yep.
Everybody goes, oh, he came out of left field. That's not that. The people in China.
Yep.
Oh, hold on a second. The people in China already knew they was ready. They had their map. They already had experience. You know who didn't? You and I, who are kept to believing, made to believe that everything is okay by our government.
We've been kept by the government.
You're being kept comfortable in the idea that your finances are all good and that the financial conditions, the job market, and everything else is good. How about we start looking at what's happening in our own home? Is the job market good in your house? Is your job good? Are you holding on to your benefits? Got a question. For those who've been working in places for a long time, have you actually checked an update for your benefit packets and where your retirement is, what the rules are for you to retire? Have you sat down with a representative to see what happens? Well, when I retire, what do I need to do? No, you haven't, because you got comfortable with the complacency that everything is okay. You believe them. The matrix was never going to tell you that it was a matrix. A fish doesn't know it's in water. It just knows this is where it lives. Until someone puts dirt in the water, it doesn't know it's in water.
Oh, that is such an amazing analogy for what's been going on today. That is an amazing analogy. We're gonna throw some dirt in the water and see what happens.
Well, I don't want to do that. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to share with you that the dirt's already there. I don't have to put anything in your water to make you realize that don't drink that. You have an alternative to drink something else. You don't have to take in the daily everything you always did all the time. You have a requirement to ask questions, to start questioning everything. And people go, oh, don't rock the boat. The boat's already rocking. You were sinking.
Rocking, it's dipping.
It's sinking in a level that it ain't shaking while it's going down doesn't mean you're going to drown any less. Does anybody get that? Sure. So while you would like, I have some folks that I realize, some people who have stepped up and said, hey, Mr. Behi, we're going to come to class. You know what I figured out? Why they haven't shown up? Pride. Yeah. I can tell already all the folks that I've talked to that go, well, we're going to come back to class. Not while you're struggling. Not while you have chosen struggle and your pride. I tell y'all right now, put your pride down. I don't hold grudges, and I don't, what they say, I don't count beans and I don't hold grudges. You know why? I don't have time for that. That's bull. It wastes time. I make money with time. I don't hold people accountable. You don't do what you got to do. That's on you. It won't affect me. If I give you my time to get some new information and you do nothing with it, then you deserve what you get because it's all you. You cannot blame someone else for what you cannot. The actions that you make. And we've gotten real good putting the responsibility off on third parties. That's why you vote, because you want somebody else to save you. They're going to come do what we got to do. Honestly speaking, I actually haven't heard of any major things that Mandani has done since he came into office. But I can tell you since day one of Trump coming into office, they let him into office one day. He did not go through a party. He did all his parties before. And then he sat down and went to work. He started signing stuff, filling things out. You know why?
Executive order.
He did that stuff. He prepared. He had his whole staff prepare all the stuff he was going to do day one if we get voted.
It's funny. Trump signed the most executive orders in any president's history. And
I'm telling you right now, I am not a big fan. I don't have to be a fan to be affected. Y'all get that? I don't have to be a fan to be affected. I don't have to like the man. I don't have to be his chum buddy to be affected. And my goal is to be affected in a positive way. And in it. Come on, y'all.
Always. Excuse me.
See, while everybody's griping, what did he do today? I'm asking, what did he do today? How's it going to benefit me? I'm a millionaire. I don't know about y'all. I'm a millionaire. I don't fall in the day.
How does his move? That's a good way to look at it. I think if you look at what are the millionaires doing today, and take on that mindset and think how they think, the mindset is more important than what they have. Just like billionaires say, a billionaire, it has nothing to do with the money in his pockets. Everything that he does with the money, the thought process, how he decides what decisions he makes around which actions.
That's right.
And that's the billionaire mentality.
A wealthy man will always be wealthy. A poor man will always be poor. And it has nothing to do with what they have. It has to do with how they think. They think in two different ways. It is time for us to make the shift and then put our actions into it. It's time for us to embrace that there is a shift. You have to have new pathways. You got to actually take the time to start moving yourself mentally away from poverty. Stop taking on what they doing to us and start actually going, what can we do for ourselves? Start asking the question, how can I shift this to move forward? And people go, oh, she's selling her training. Baby, let me tell you something. You damn right.
Mm-hmm.
Class, I told y'all we had a cutoff. I told you price of my classes is going up this year. You know why? Because everything else is too.
Yep.
Everything else is too. I'm not going to sit here and modify my prices anymore for anybody who will not pay. If you won't pay rock bottom, you're going to have to pay like all the other platforms that you get, all these schools that y'all went to, you owe them debt. And none of them taught you how to make anything, build anything, hold on to anything. Not a one. Not a one. Even the financial literacy programs from the banking institutions have taught you how to stay connected to their control.
Yep. But they're a business. They're a business.
That is their nature of their business. The nature of mine is to unplug people from the system by their own hands. To teach you how to use the system that exists outside of the ones you've been exposed to. To teach you how the technology works and how simple it is to shift your focus from one thing to another. Because the longer you stay in the system, the more generations of your family will be just like you and worse. And I realize that. I come to understand that. I can't tell you how many times I have tried my hardest to help. I had to stop trying. I said no longer. I have relatives that know we do this program. I put the link on and they do not come. You know what I figured out? That is the way it goes. I have run into other trainers, teachers, coaches, people who are helping folks get out of the system. And guess what? Same problem. We have one of the things is they said, you'll never be a prophet in your own home. That's fine. But I will not carry them. I cannot carry them. I was not built to carry everyone. You are built with the structure you have to carry yourself, and you are capable. As long as you are of sound mind and body, it just works. And so we have to come together to understand only the ones, I had to learn, everybody ain't ready for this. Only the ones who show up are the ones I focus on. That's it. If you show up and you keep showing up, you get something. If you don't, then you'll never know. You never know. And you will suffer in silence because you won't let, that's what we call it. I told you, pride goes before the fall, and most people are running on pride. They don't even know it. Your ego runs the show. But I tell you this right now, the one opportunity that you do have, we get together. We have a community meeting every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday.
In the evening. Okay. This Wednesday, we celebrate our birthday because I got mad Aquariuses in the house. I'm an Aquarius. We do our Aquarius thing.
The water sign is in place.
It's not a water sign. Thank you. Keep thinking that. Aquarius is an air sign. We hold the water. Yes. I know it's crazy, right? But we kind of in between. And that's what I love. I love that we hold the water. That's what we do. We hold it. And people go, no, it is. Y'all argue if you want, but embrace it. You are in two spaces, two houses. I absolutely love it. I'm never of one mind. And I noticed that. I'm never of one mind. because I'm always able to move and shift the plane wherever I'm at. I never go spiraling down. And I've exactly, people, oh, I'm depressed and I'm this and I'm that. I got to ask my fellow Aquariuses, have y'all noticed that we don't spiral? Somehow we always bounce back. We got, and even when people act crazy. So I give love and affection to all my Aquariuses this February. Love it. And my January ones, that's what's up. Celebrating. You know what I'm saying? We are still in the age of Aquarius. And I need you guys to recognize something. It is our time. It has become our time because we are the ones who are going to give the world the hope that it needs to move forward. When you speak, and this is just for my fellow Aquariuses, when you speak, know that the power that generates, that goes out from just your words are priceless. They literally vibrate way out beyond you. Because the people that heard you, I don't even care if they was ear hustling. It sat so deep in their brain, they came out of their mouth sometime afterwards. Know that. So choose your words. Choose your words because you particularly, especially right now, are very powerful. Don't blow it. I'm about to get my reading done for my birthday. I'm so excited. Y'all saw my girl, the BK Bruja, up in here because I have some things that are on the I'm moving forward too. I need people that I know. I want you guys to know I love you all.
We love you too.
I know. And that's the thing. I know. I get it. I get your love. I totally get your love. All of it. It's what helps to keep me and all the Aquariuses out here generating the love y'all are gonna need. Because at this time in the world, this is our movement. And I don't know what Aries means, but I know we about to go in and do our thing, y'all. We gotta do it's the time. It's to pick up and let's go. The march is on. And it's a different kind of march. Now, while you have those amazing monks who are moving through this country, no matter what they're dealing with, in the name of peace, marching, how many of y'all will pick up and start marching on the new information to shift the generations of your life? How many of y'all gonna march in a different way where you're shifting your home and your home then shifts your community and community shifts the whole neighborhood? How many of y'all gonna get on that? That's what we do at P2G.
All the time.
That's Wednesday evening. The website has the free link sitting up there. I don't know how many of y'all click it, but once you sign up, make sure you show up. Put it on your calendar. It's a Zoom, so you can put it on. You can instantly connect it to your calendar.
And we tell them it's always right there at the bottom of the page.
7 p.m. Eastern every Wednesday. I don't play that. And by the way, Miss Hilda, thank you because she came in and I think she got blown out. We had a nice little debate going on. Me and one of the folks that came on, we were doing our homework, and that's what I love because I don't play that. We here for the truth. We here to show it. We got to show and prove. Don't just speak. No.
You got to be able to support what you say.
That's the difference between myself and all those folks that will have you following them. I do not want you to follow me. I want you to follow lead. Y'all get how that works? We move together as leaders all together. Because that's the only way to come up out of anything together. And with that, I give y'all love. This is an amazing Monday. Happy birthday to all my February 2nd babies. Mwah! And all my February babies all together. We have one, just to let you know, get on. Everybody come in because we are celebrating a birthday on February 4th. The next day is Wednesday. We have a guest coming in who will be speaking, but we're also going to celebrate the birthday. I'm not telling y'all yet because he know who he is. I'm going to see if I can get him on the show that day, at least in voice, to share with us how his birthday is going and to get the love. So I hope y'all come back on Wednesday so we can celebrate.
Well, my cousin made birthday yesterday. I just want to happy belated birthday. Jay, happy birthday to you.
Yes. Happy belated birthday to the love and the fam. I love it. So guys, do your thing. Let's go. We doing breakfast with the Thomases. Don't forget, we here So are you. Just all you gotta do, reach out. P2GNetworks.com, P2G Networks TV.
We'll see you on Wednesday.
It's breakfast with the timelesses, the ultimate prize. Mental wellness Monday, work it out Wednesday, pay it forward Friday. We're seizing the day. Digital finance, harmony of love, serving food to what goes to rising as the beat and it Eastern on P2G TV.
Demon, thank you so much, baby. Just ending the show, but we have to come in. I appreciate you, love. Right. That's right. And we're out.
Right.